Good evening, greetings, and welcome. This is Ron McNeil, your brother and your friend. I'm trying to get situated right here so I can give a very important talk on the right foods that one should eat if you have a diabetic gene or diabetic. What I mean by that is this. Some people go to the doctor and they diagnose with diabetes. You know you're diabetic. Okay, that's understood. Now, the people, when I say they have a diabetic gene, these are the people that are family members of diabetic, and they have the same symptoms, and they convince themselves that I don't have what she has. In some cases, or he has, in some cases, that's true. Some of these family members may not want to go to the doctor and hear the diagnosis. And like I said before in my other YouTube video, that diabetes doesn't really exist. What you have is an intolerance to foods. Let me say that again. Many people that don't understand, if not most, that diabetes is an intolerance to some food that's not biochemically appropriate for your body. For example, if you are diabetic or have that diabetic gene and you were to eat some cookies and donuts, you're going to suffer from eating those foods because of the sugar and the white flour. You know, the sugar is 100% on the glycemic list, the white flour 100% on the glycemic list. Then you usually get trans fats in there, some type of margin on trans fat. And trans fats, just like the grease when you go to McDonald's, you smell the good smelling grease from the fries, those are trans fats. Those type of fats, coupled with that type of sugar, any sugar, is cataclysmic and catastrophic for a diabetic or anybody that has a diabetic gene, because you might not be far out, for example, having severe symptoms like somebody that's actually diabetic and needs medication like insulin or metformin, or particularly insulin. But when you have, once again, if you have that gene, you cannot eat those type of foods, cookies, candy, donuts, pop, chip, ice cream, cake, muffins, rolls, etc., etc., etc. Junk food. And even food that you don't think is junk food, like rice and bread and muffins and rolls and biscuits and pancakes and French toast, etc., etc. People engorge in those type of foods on a regular basis, and they want to know why they don't feel right. See, as you get older, past 40, you start getting pretty much past 40, male and female, that's when you got a drop in hormones. Your testosterone for men has dropped. Your estrogen levels for women have dropped. That right there makes you more vulnerable to this thing we call diabetes, if you will. This blood sugar abnormalities. Because once again, like I said, diabetes is the name that these cons, if you will, from this medical institution and Food and Drug Administration and these other big conglomerates, these cons, they give it a name for simplicity and to make you fear that, hey, you better go to the doctor. But the bottom line is, it's really an intolerance to foods that are not genetically available and bioavailable for your body, and it doesn't gel with your body, as I just said. It's the biochemistry of those foods are antagonistic to your body, and they cause all kind of catastrophic and cataclysmic and devastating effects in your body. And as you get older, like I said, if you're 40-some years old, you got a drop in testosterone for men and estrogen for women. And when those hormone levels drop, it's even more hastened, if you will, and it's expedited when you have that diabetic gene, because you getting older, diabetic or not, it's going down. And what happens if you have this so-called blood sugar abnormalities, if you will, or rather you have a blood sugar abnormality, that expedites that problem. So it makes it go from bad to worse real fast. And when it goes from bad to worse real fast, you feel the effects. Weight gain, low libido, erectile dysfunction, mood swings, memory loss, skin lesions, skin problems rather, whatever lesion or not, some type of skin problem, irritation, you name it, just catastrophic. It really is. The way to offset that is you have to do something. There's no such thing as you going to the doctor. Even if you go and get some medication, like metformin, maybe it's not that bad that you need insulin, but say you go get some glyburide or glipizide, metformin, or some type of oral medication to help lower and stabilize your blood sugar. Even if you do that, guess what? That's only going to work a little bit. Because remember, when you have these blood sugar abnormalities, if you will, it's basically called a disease of civilization, a disease of lifestyle. People acquire this because of the way they live. And most people live like my old boss told me. He said, hit it like you live when I was doing construction. I was taking a sledgehammer trying to break these concrete blocks. And he said, hit it like you live. In other words, hit it hard because you living hard. And when people usually do what they want to do, those type of people, which makes up the majority of people, like the people I'm talking to, like probably you do what you want to do. And because one of the greatest freedoms in the world is to be able to go buy some food, sit down and eat it. Nobody's in trouble. Nobody's going to judge you. You're doing what you want to do. You're happy. You feel good. Well, when you have a sensitivity and a genetic sensitivity and a genetic intolerance to those foods, then you got to go from plan A to plan B. Plan B tells you, hey, I got to go and do something different. I remember I told a co-worker, I said, hey, you can't eat the same foods like your co-workers do. You know, when they're enjoying pizza and donuts, it may not hurt them, but it will kill you. Well, the same thing, that if you eating certain foods, you cannot just eat anything without, looking at this, examining and saying, hey, maybe I need to go to plan B, because when I do eat these type of foods, I get this type of side effect. And over time, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Who wants to be crippled up in their 40s and 50s? You ain't really not really old yet, right? Who wants to be crippled up? Who wants to have low libido for a female and erectile dysfunction for a man, and irritation and fatty liver disease because your body is eating too much carb and your liver is converting to fat? They call it de novo lipogenesis. When that process takes place, then you're on the way to liver cancer, some type of cirrhosis of the liver. Who wants to deal with that? Who wants to deal with gastroparesis, when you get basically stomach paralysis that would lead to fecal impaction, right? That will lead to colon cancer and maybe sepsis. When you get full body poisoning, that will kill you because you decided, I want some donuts today, I want some caramel corn or popcorn, I want a 2-liter pop and cheeseburger and a fry, for example. I want a bag of chips and some ice cream. Well, all the things I just mentioned right there, you can't have. Let me just show you. This poster I created probably about 15 years ago. I got good here and I got evil there. You don't have to read nothing. You can just look at the image. Good and evil. Look at it from that perspective. The foods that you need that are good for you, here's an example. And the foods, now you know damn well you ain't supposed to eat on the other side, which is evil. And you look at that like that, you pretty much understand where I'm coming from. Good foods and evil foods. Particularly when you get blood sugar abnormalities and issues with that, those are the foods right there that you're supposed to lean towards. And other foods, I'm not going to say totally get rid of it, because we all deserve cheat meals. They boost serotonin and dopamine levels, neurotransmitters in our brain that make us feel good. So you do need some cookies sometime. We call it a cheat meal. I call it a cheat meal. And cheat meal. And it's okay to have a cheat meal sometimes. But that depends on your level of health. If you know you're really messed up and very sick, you can't have no cheat meal until you get your blood sugar under control and reverse some of that damage. And some of that damage can be reversed. There's certain nutrients, certain foods, and certain things that you have to do. There's no such thing as you sitting on your butt all day and being sedentary. See, remember the world we live in now, after slavery, after industrialism, now is an age of technology, right? You had three ways of economy in America. You had agriculture, industrialism, technology. The age of technology now, people sit down, they work at home, not just because of COVID-19. You got a lot of folks who work at home and do sedentary type jobs. You're right in front of the computer, pushing a button all day. What type of movement are you doing? When we talk about health, we talk about trying to mimic the caveman and the cave woman. That's the idea. These scientists that I have to agree on certain things, the ideal healthy person was a caveman and a cave woman. What did they do? They hunt and they gather. They walked all day. Imagine doing 20, 30 miles of cardio, because that's all it is, all day. You're getting fresh air, sunshine, D3 from your sun. You're getting exercise, cardio, and then you're getting something which is aerobic, and you're getting some anaerobic work too, because you're probably pushing and moving boulders. Try to body slam a doggone deer if you can. And the caveman and the cave woman was in shape, top athletes, if you will, in modern times. And if you would consider that in modern times, they was in dynamic shape. If they died early, right? If they died early, it was generally because of some accident. A dinosaur got them, they fell off a cliff, or a boulder ran them over, something like that. But they didn't die like we died. We died naturally because of lifestyle diseases, disease of civilization, as I just said, because we eating bad foods all day, every day. And we're doing it with impunity. That means disrespect to ourselves. That's not self-love. That's self-hate. And that's an arrogant spirit. I'm going to do what I want to do. To hell with you, Ron, and anyone else. And you guaranteed, because the laws of karma are going to tell you self-preservation is the first law of life. And if you deviate away from self-preservation, guess what? You're going to suffer. That's how it goes. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you have to make up your mind, hey, am I going to do the right thing towards myself or not? Once you have been informed, because I understand a lot of people are not informed, and that's why I'm making this video, to be informed. Information is life-saving. That's what African proverb says, strategy is greater than strength, because you can have a strategy to live effectively. And this is a nutritional and lifestyle strategy that I'm trying to implement and convey to you, the listener, if you will, the viewer, if you will. The strategy is you eating more vegetables, right? You eating some fruit, because you can't have that much fruit. They got new, Dr. Fetty was right about that fruit. We got new modern fruit that's been examined, if you will. They cross hybrids. You got these wicked science that made this fruit so sweet. You might want to eat 10 cookies and eat a certain piece of fruit. So that's why, before Dr. Dyer died, he was right. He said, just grow your own food. You damn near got to grow your own food now. Now, I know everybody's not that interested in food growing. Because that takes time and some money. Because if you ain't got a house and a yard or interest in planting some stuff, then you're not going to do it. But the ones that have it, go for it. By all means, do it. But anyway, so I would recommend a little fruit. I would recommend that. A little fruit and a high fibrous fruit. Remember, like an apple. And remember, anything with a seed is a fruit too. So tomato, a zucchini, and certainly an avocado if you like it. Because that's a fruit. And olives, they have olives. You can buy olives that are pitted without that nut in it. If you want to break your tooth off, and you're getting healthy fat and nutrients from that. So those are fruit. Now vegetables, that's unlimited. Any vegetable you want, go for it. If you're not allergic to any fruit or vegetable, I won't mention that, then go for it. The vegetables, go all day long with it. And then you need your healthy fats. And this is very important. What fats can you have that's healthy? Butter. That's a natural fat, and it's part of the CLA family. That's conjugated oleic acid. That's a fat burner. Butter won't make you fat. What makes you fat is the 5 slices of garlic bread that you had with the butter on it. Okay? That's what made you fat. Not the butter, the bread. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't just eat a whole stick of butter and just gulp it down. Of course, too much of anything that's good for you will be bad for you, right? So you got to be moderate. You got to have a balance. But you need some butter. Cook with your butter and cook with your lard, because once they did the research over the years, lard was the worst thing in the world, right? But if you go get some lard, especially like some tallow, that beef lard or that chicken lard and pig lard, they have all that. They have it in Wholes and Fresh Thyme and Mary Almost. it's going to cost you some more, because once they found out that it was beneficial for cooking and your health, the price went up, as always.
Powering off.
And the next thing that you need is olive oil. But the thing about olive oil goes like this. When you use olive oil, right, guess what? You don't cook with olive oil, even though it's a monounsaturated fat, the same as lard, but it turns rancid if you cook it. And rancid means that it turns rotten, and you lose the nutrient profile when you use olive oil to cook an egg. Cook it with butter, cook it with lard, or coconut oil. So there's 4 oils that I recommend. Butter is 1. Grade A, organic, non-GMO butter if you can get it. That's 1. Lard, 2. Coconut oil, unrefined, 3. And extra virgin organic olive oil that you put on your foods to get the nutritional benefit from it. Now, as far as the meat's concerned, real simple. Beef, chicken, turkey, fish. With everything on it, you just try to go towards foods that are non-GMO, not organic. And GMO means genetically modified organisms. That's the poisonous stuff. So if you see non-GMO project label on some of your foods, you want to lean in that direction, particularly meats. So non-GMO meats are wonderful. Antibiotic-free meats are wonderful. They have it at whole. They have it at Fresh Times. I've seen it. Or if you know some farmer or somebody that's got some wild food that didn't give it steroids and antibiotics, didn't go for it. That'll be your friend right there. A wonderful thing. What else? Let me see. That would be some great meats. And then probably one of your greatest starchy carbs would be like some barley, some oatmeal, grits, and with a meal, beans. Because fiber is your friend. Because fiber slows that spike in blood sugar that you will get if you eat white rice and bread and white potatoes and crackers and things of that nature. So those things are very important that you want to incorporate in your diet. And then you know and then as far as drinking is concerned, black tea, green tea, unsweetened, and water, and a vegetable drink or green drink, unsweetened. That's it. And then as far as exercise, once again, do some cardio, walking. That's your greatest walk right there. Your greatest exercise, really, just walk. Just walk. Now, some of you people are vain like me. You want to have a little muscle or a little curve as a female on your body. You need to do that. That's anaerobic. Aerobic is cardio, right? Anaerobic is when you're doing stop and go, do like a little strength training. By all means, do it every 3-4 days a week. Pump some iron, 4-5 sets of 10 on some bench, inclines, some squats, deadlifts. If you don't know how to do it, get a personal trainer. Yeah, simple as that. And let him or her help you, show you how to do it. If you have some idea of what to do, just go in and do some sets and some reps. You ain't got to go heavy. You ain't got to go. You know what? The key to that, and I don't get all into strength training because the magic of it, and people argue about this for years. What works? It works. Actually, after 42 years, I realized everything works. It really does work in a sense, because if you maximizing that intensity, because that's really the key, intensity, which is the greatest amount of work in the shortest period of time. For example, if I told you, give me 10 push-ups, say, okay, I'm going to do 1 Monday, 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, 10 days, 10 push-ups. But if I told you to give me 10 push-ups in 5 seconds, look how hard you got to hit it. And that jamming, all that work in the shortest period of time creates intensity, and that's how you alter your physique, from flabby, soft, to muscular. But as you get older and you have a drop in testosterone and drop in estrogen for females and testosterone for men, if you will, then you ain't going to be able to blast that intensity to that degree. But you still will be able to generate intensity to the point that you got a flat stomach if you want, nice shapely legs, nice muscular chest and arms. So you can do that. With that type of eating right and those exercises, you can get that body you want. So that's no issue. But you have to be committed to that like anything else. It takes a commitment. You got to prioritize that. But anyway, back to how to be really healthy with this diabetes. what we really want to do, like I said, we also want to do intermittent fasting. I forgot to mention that. You want to eat and don't eat for hours. Don't eat until you're hungry again. It's as simple as that. And there's some key nutrients that you need to take. Benfotiamine, carnosine, acetyl L-carnitine, and L-carnitine, and alpha lipoic acid, the R form of it. That's the one that's more bioavailable for the body. Those are some key nutrients that I strongly recommend. Like right here on this poster, I know you can't see it, but I stipulated all that there on there. You want to get one of these from me, you can contact me. But nonetheless, Ron McNeil 113 at gmail.com. That's once again Ronald McNeil, not Ron, excuse me, Ronald McNeil 113 at gmail.com. But anyway, you want to incorporate that whole scheme of things in. The right foods, the right cardio, the right strength training if you decide to do that, the right intermittent fasting, and the right attitude that this is an inescapable fact. The foods are toxic. The soil, the dirt on the ground, is no more good. All the minerals that you're missing, the magnesium, the selenium, the iron, the iodine, the vanadium, the chromium, all that's gone. You got to really get that out of supplement form, and that's why you need more greens daily to try to get some of that, and try your very best to go for organic foods. I know it's a little bit more because, like I said, the Food and Drug Administration, the agriculture, all these big corporations are cons. They're cons because they know doggone well you got to pay a little bit more, and people are already struggling with money anyway. Not just because of the pandemic, they're struggling anyway. This is America. This is capitalism. It's based off the haves and the have-nots. And that's how it's always been, and unfortunately, it will always be that way. It's the very nature of capitalism. I got more than you. You see how people are. And that's what Karl Marx, I'm going to point that out. They said labor competes against labor for survival. That's where you get so much conflict right there. But to stay relevant on what I'm saying, that you have to sacrifice because it's already a struggle with spending money, and then when you're trying to get these healthy foods and healthy nutrients, that's more money. But it's worthwhile because you want to be able to wake up in the morning or at night or anytime and say, I can run a mile if I had to. I can walk 10 miles if I had to. I don't need any medication. I'm not crippled up. I'm not restricted. My mind is right. My body is right. My sex drive is normal. My appetite is normal. My mood swing is normal. My mood is normal rather than having a mood swing. Those things are very, very important. And that's the goal right there. That's the goal, that you want to be able to be healthy. And those are some things that many people just don't know, and that's why I'm glad that I got a chance to expound on that so that you can incorporate those things that I just mentioned in your life to improve your life. Remember, that's what life is about. It's about being the best you can be, number one. And number two, helping other people to make similar choices. That's really what it's about. I mean, you got 8 billion people on earth, as I say. Why would you? There's no hope without being your best and giving of yourself. That's how life works better for everybody. Being the best you can be, self-love, right? Self-respect, and giving of yourself within reason to help other people make similar dynamic choices that benefit the whole. Everybody's happy. Everybody's eating, if you will. Everybody got theirs. But once again, I'm going to end this little message. The only way this works is for you to eat the right foods and be active. There's no other way around it. You have to eat the right foods and be active. And then you have to plan for a cheat meal on certain times. Because if you don't go into these foods more than when you're supposed to, it would be catastrophic for your body. So to avoid that drama, I'm going to have you sometimes. So I'm not trying to stop you from going to your favorite restaurants and eating your favorite foods. I'm not suggesting that. I'm only saying that you got to dramatically cut down on that, because as you get older, your body's as less efficient as they used to be, and it's very difficult for you to deal with those foods if you have a diabetic gene, or diabetic, if you will. And that's how it goes. So once you understand that and accept that premise and move in that direction, things will be great for you. All right, that's it. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ron McNeil, your brother and your friend. Let me end it right here. Talk to you in the next video.